I said, well, if there is a person that can say, thank you, cancer, there must be something different than this normal, traditional medicine or doctors. Hello, I'm Milena, and I'm going to tell you my story about cancer. My journey with cancer started on my 60th birthday in January 2021. I was at work and they were bringing me bottles of champagne, and I went to the mammography on the lunchtime. They told me when I left from the mammography that they will let me know in 2 to 4 weeks by letter. And so I went back to work and everything was normal. 2 days later I got a letter in my mailbox from the doctors. Told me that they want to see me again. That's when it started, because I knew by then that there was something wrong. So I went back to the hospital and they told me that there is 2 small differences in my left breast, and they wanted me to stay there to have a biopsy. Suddenly it felt like my world was crushing down. It was like me falling down into a pit with no end, because I knew from that moment that something is wrong. I was in a state of shock that I don't remember how I got there. I don't know if I drove the car or took a bus or whatever. I was in a state of shock. The word cancer was for me the worst word that anybody could say for anyone. And now I've heard it from the doctor saying it to me. And it was a death sentence. That was how it felt, because even when I called my mother to tell her the news, I couldn't spell it out. I said it, because the word cancer is very infected word. It's very loaded with the meaning actually death. So I said, Mom, I've got it. My mother was very quiet. She didn't react. She was just quiet. She didn't cry anything. So I can feel that she was really in shock as well. My life changed. I know exactly when I was walking from the doctor that just told me this. I was walking down the stairs and I found myself thinking that this is where it ends. That was my point, that my life as I know by living it ends right here, right now. And it's never going to be the same again. In that situation, you are so far away from yourself that everybody that you come in contact see that something is wrong. You go walking around like a zombie around people, and you don't function in that way you're supposed to. So when they asked, what's wrong? Didn't you sleep last night or whatever? I told them that I just got this message from the doctor that they found 2 cancers in my left breast. All of them, I mean, there's none that said, oh, you're going to be fine or whatever. They gasped first, like, and then they said, whatever you need, let me know. And that was it. Like, I could feel the fear they have about talking about it with me, So they usually say, well, call me if you need anything, whatever, whenever, and they leave the room or the street when we meet and stuff like that, because I can feel how hard it was for them to talk about cancer. In a couple of days, the shock was so strong. I didn't sleep, I didn't eat. I was walking around a zombie, but still at work, but not doing the things that I was supposed to do because I was a danger to myself and the others. So they put me in an office job. And I've thought about everything that now will happen because of this, because I knew that they told me in the hospital, you need this and you need that, and we have to do this, and then you following up with this medicine and everything. So I knew roughly what's ahead of me. I didn't recognize it. I pushed it away. I knew it, but I pushed it away all the time. To the date, actually, then I had to go back to the hospital for the operation. I wasn't sleeping that much, but I did doze off sometimes, and I woke up and I felt like I was dreaming. That was a bad dream that I had. I stood up or went to the bathroom, and then suddenly I could see on my breast the punctures that they made with the biopsy. So I knew that was real. So it was like waking up in a nightmare every time. I tried to be logical about it, and because the doctor says, oh, a lot of people survive today with cancer and we'll fix it, don't worry. But I didn't believe them. There was nothing good with the cancer. I didn't see any light anywhere. My dreams were all about death. I was buried, I was alive, buried alive, I was drowning, I was being stabbed, I was being chased, and sometimes those dreams were so real that I really thought that it happened. My way of calming down is by going out to the nature or going to a park and be around nature, the greens and everything. And so I tried to do everything that I could to become normal somehow. And all the people that I met, I felt like they were laughing at me. It felt like, because of course when you meet somebody on the street or in a park, they smile at you. But for me, the signs were, you got cancer, oh, I don't. So it was a very bad experience, and I couldn't get the peace that I usually did when I went out to the nature, which in this case led to that I was inside, locked inside, with the curtains even closed, because I could see children playing outside or whatever, and I couldn't cope with either of that. It was very lonely and very scary because this fear of dying overtook every single second of my day. I was trying to cook some noodles, but I could easily fall into this fear by saying, well, this is probably my last meal at home. I didn't clean the house because why? I'm still going to die soon, so. And all those little things added up to the point that you are really fear of everything. My body was telling me that it was wrong, everything was wrong, because I'm still going to die soon, so there's no point in anything. no point of eating, no point of going out and enjoy, because why should I enjoy? It's all over anyhow. The feeling was that my stomach got really, really hard. It's like a cramp in my stomach, which then spread from the stomach to my muscles, to the point that if I went to have a shower, I couldn't lift my arms because I have cramps in the muscles. So it was very physical as well, not just psychologically, but even the whole body was like in a cramp. So when I walked as I was in cast or something, because my muscles were really tight and I couldn't move properly, which then led to also the swallowing process, because I had cramp all over, so I couldn't swallow my own saliva. So I was spitting all over the places as well. The fear is so profound that it will stop you living. It's like you already dead, actually. It felt like it. After about 3 weeks of complete panicking and fear and not degraded of sleep, food, everything, my body was drying out. I couldn't do anything. And that's where I realized that if I'm going to go through with the operation, radiation, whatever they told me that I have to go through, I have to pick myself back up and I have to start trying to eat something to get me to be able to walk, or to be able to drive myself to the hospital again. I started to put notes on the paper that could help me to do it. Like, today I'm going to try to go outside to the mailbox and back and forth once and see if that will help me. And so it started with little things like go to the mailbox, as I said. For me now it's so funny, but then it was a really, really big deal to open the door and suddenly go outside and being afraid of meeting somebody on this little, like 10 meters. Those little things were helpful in that way that I could start to move myself towards being able to seek help. I have a good friend that I called several friends, of course, but one of them said, I know somebody that's been through this. Please call her. And I was not there yet, because I had those tiny baby steps to go to, but I had her number and everything, and I had the operation coming up in 2 weeks. So I had to really start first of me being me and getting up and start to walk, because I know I will have to be somehow living when I go there for the operation. And so I didn't call, and I prolonged it all the time, because I knew that when this will happen, it will be so much different, that I was afraid of that too. I was afraid of everything. Now I had to pull myself to little steps to do cooking. Boiling an egg was a complete different thing suddenly than before the cancer. So everything was really, really hard. So I couldn't get to the point when I called her. But luckily she called me. And of course I did answer, and that's when my life started to change, actually. My first conversation was on the phone, and of course I didn't know Gila at all. And so basically she introduced herself, and she talked a little bit about her experience. And then suddenly she goes, well, you know, I think you should thank you for cancer. And this was so completely out of nowhere. I was really shocked that somebody could say thank you for cancer. And it was like I was now nowhere. I didn't have the ground, even the status quo. I didn't have anything. And so then we talked about her experience, and I could then tell her about my fears. And so this is how it started, actually. And I said, well, if there is a person that can say thank you, cancer, there must be something different than this normal traditional medicine or doctors, right? Because if I go to hospital and say, yes, I've got cancer, they will probably put me in mental hospital, right? So that's the way it started, actually. And Gila then let me myself open my own eyes and look at it from different way. By the way she was leading me, or asking me questions and telling me, say it out loud, I have cancer and stuff, to try to make me feel everything. In that point, we really discussed it, and then I could open up, and I could feel that there was a response, because I knew that she had the same experience many years before me. So I knew that she was listening, and I knew that there was a response that I was looking for. It felt like now suddenly the whole body and everything in me was screaming out, finally I know how to get me better. And what happened was that after the conversation I had to go and throw up, and it felt like all this fear and all this shock was leaving me with the vomiting. Then I realized that I was opening up. I was opening me for taking in the information that we later on went through with the workshop. She wanted to record it, and I said it was all okay. Because I thought that, and I know now as well, that it could be a helpful part to somebody else as well. The next day it had been snowing for the whole night, and I went outside to the mailbox again, and now it wasn't that hard anymore. And I remember when I was walking back towards the house, I was looking for my footsteps in the snow, because I felt so light that I thought that I might not even leave any footprints in the snow, because I was tripping like in the air on the way back. So that's when I knew that there is something that's happening with me for the better. Well, the fear changed as well, of course. First of all, it started with the word cancer and death. It was no drama in it at all. And then the fear comes with it, of course, and it's shifted. In this point, it's shifted for the fear of the operation. So we had to work with that too. Sometimes I had fallbacks, then I could call Gila again, maybe the same evening or the next morning. And because we had short of time to go through some of the workshop schedules, I really wanted to be as ready for the operation as possible, of course. So sometimes it felt a little bit like I'm pushing too much. That's when I felt I was taking a little bit tiny step back. So I had Gila all the time to pick me up again and start to move forward instead. I think it's a tremendous difference with if you talk to somebody about cancer when they don't have the experience. It's a tremendous difference, because I have all those other friends that I've talked with them, and they talk to me as well about it. But there is none of this that could come close even. When you are so near death as I was in my mind, there is no one that can help you if they don't know how it feels. I felt that Gila was the only one actually in all those that I tried to talk to or asked about things that I wondered and stuff like that. That Gila was the only one that really could feel what I felt. The most profound thing that I learned, and I now convinced that cancer is just a word, nothing else, and cancer is not in any case equals death. That's the whole, the biggest change in me, how I approach cancer. For me, the word cancer is actually a funny word that has made my life so much better than it was before cancer. I can enjoy my life so much more than I used to, and I have cancer to thank me for that. So as Gila shocked me the first time, she said, "Thank God for cancer," it's just that I feel today. My life is totally different, not just because I quit my job. That is, of course, a difference. But my life is joyful, meaningful, and I take care of people around me so much more than I used to do. Because I thought that I didn't have time, I was all stressed out, I was ambitious, I was egoistic, and I did everything to prove for who, I don't know who actually, that I'm the best in the world, and that made me really egoistic and very self-minded. Now it's totally the opposite actually. I love to do things that I've never done before. I challenge myself by silly things instead of jumping out of a plane, which was the way the old Milena would have any adrenaline at all. Now my adrenaline can come from jumping from the bridge into the lake in the nowhere, and I can really feel alive by just going out and picking some blueberries in the woods. And I feel the joy of doing it, which I never did before. It was just like going there, pick as much as possible in 10 minutes so I can go and eat it at home as quick as possible. Now everything I do is with a meaning. There is a meaning behind it, or it gives me a meaning. My relationship with cancer today is that I thank cancer for my life, because I'm convinced that if I didn't have the cancer, I wouldn't be alive today. And if I was alive, I will be stressed out, not aware of living, and just rushing ahead to nowhere. Before, what I call the old Milena is before I got the cancer, I had this huge bucket list on my, put up on the fridge. And there was all these things that I want to do before I'm too old or before I die, right? And there was this huge list, and everything on that bucket list was quite expensive things or very, very dairy things. But all of it was things to do so I could show somebody else that I'm capable of doing things that they not. For example, jumping out of a plane, or being by myself in the Brazil jungle, whatever. And those things, and I remember it because when I started to come in touch with my body and my soul instead of just the brain, now suddenly those things were not important anymore. And I would go almost every day and take out one of the points on my bucket list because it wasn't important. Why? Why should I do this? Because of somebody else or for me? What do I get out of it? And so I started to put those points out, and suddenly now I start to read the bucket list, and I thought, now there are those things I can do today. I can do them now, and then I started to enjoy them. Like blueberry picking, or going to my friend that I know has a dog and just walk him in the woods. It was so much better than traveling around the world and do things that I could show on Facebook. I've been here, I've been there, or I did this. It's so tremendously different things. And I still have bucket lists, but as I said, these are the silly things like I want to embrace my mom at least once a week. That's on my bucket list, and it's still there because every week I do it. And these are the joyful moments, and which gives me the reason to live as well. The old Milena was a skeptical. I mean, there was nobody else that was more skeptic than me of any other things than they can. I have to have proof of everything. And if somebody says, this is good for you, or eat this, or do this for you, I say, yeah, if you show me the proof. I didn't believe in anything else. So I was the one who didn't believe in any other things than the doctors, because they have these studies and the numbers that I could see for myself. Now, when you are in a situation, as I was, that you're so desperate and you don't even know where to turn to, this was a possibility. I wasn't convinced the first time, but I was willing to give anything a try. And I wouldn't have done that if I wasn't in that shock position that I was in. I wouldn't have the capacity to let myself completely go to somebody else. The journey was amazing. From the first day till today, and I still practicing it. I still have tools that I can use, not for the cancer anymore, but for all other things that happens in my life that I can even smile at, that made me the most angry person, the most frustrated person before. Now I have the tools to use as well, to see it from so different side that I can have fun with it, which enrich my life so much, because I'm always happy, because I don't know anything that can disturb me anymore. My health is fine. I still have some pain in my breast from occasionally. I've been to one checkup the year after the first year you have mammography. And the funny part when we're talking about it now was that I was looking forward to the mammography because I knew the answer. I knew already that they were going to say, oh, you're fine, there's nothing wrong with you, even if I still have the pain. And the pain is because of the operations, there are scars and stuff. So that's why I still have some pain. The mammography was really funny part, because I came and I was smiling, and there's nobody, not even the healthy women there waiting for the mammography. Everybody's fair for cancer. Even if they don't even have cancer, they still have the fear. So everybody's sitting, shutting themselves down, watching some newspaper, right? Don't interact. And now this Milena comes around like a hurricane into the room. And the first thing is showing my identification that it's me for the nurse. And I go, let's go, let's go. And now suddenly there was 4 women sitting there waiting for their turn. They all were shocked that I was taking that much space, but in a positive way. And I seek for their eye contact, and they all smiled at me. So I felt the positive energy helping them, that, hey, it's fine. We're just having some fun here, taking some pictures. And this was so profound for those 4 poor women that were sitting there in agony, that they were, I felt like I made their day, actually. Without knowing it, but I did, because they were smiling all when I left. This energy I had with me, of course, and first of all, they take your pictures, they press your breast in those machines, and there was 2 nurses, and she says something like, stand there and stand there. Oh, I know this, I know everything, I've been here before. Just let me do it my way, right? So I did that, and then the next breast as well, and they were just behind this little glass, right? So I was looking at them, and they were just pressing those buttons. I said, now, do you want my autograph to the pictures as well? You know, like I was a celebrity or something. And they start to laugh then. So I lightening it up, and of course they were shocked by the reply that I have. And so then I went to the doctor, and I was sitting in her room while she was looking at the picture. She came back and she says, well, you lost some weight. I said, no, I haven't, because I have a scale at home. Well, you look so nice. I said, yeah, because now I'm feeling good. And I was still laughing. And she said, oh, that's why, because she thought, she looked at me and said, I'm different. And she thought that I lost weight. And so, and she just told me that, oh, everything's fine, and about the pain, I don't know. I said, well, I know. I know why I have the pain. I'm just telling you that I have pain in my breast because of the nerves that you cut has to find their way back together. And sometimes they disconnect, and that's what hurts. That might be possible, she said, and then I left. But then I decided to quit my job a month later. And I'm absolutely sure that the old Milena will still be working today. I'm absolutely sure, because my job was priority one. And everything I did, even at home or on my holiday, was related to my job. This journey from the beginning when I got the cancer to where I'm now has turned this to a must for being able to do all the fun stuff, just for the money. And so that's a tremendous change in the way of looking at my life, because 3-4 months I didn't enjoy waking up and go to work. And I told several of my colleagues that. But I was still happy. They said, you don't seem like you don't enjoy working. Well, I have to, because I need the money to do the things that I want to do. But it's not my job. My job now is to live for every moment. You know, there is this mantra that goes that live today, like, and you see it all the walls and everywhere, on postcards and everything. But that is my way. I don't say it, but that's the way now of living. I enjoy whatever I do. If I'm standing in the queue at the supermarket, everybody gets so frustrated. I enjoy watching them being it, because I'm not. And it's so relieving, because I was there too. The people that are watching now this little piece of the film, I want you to know that even if you're skeptical, even if you don't believe, try it, because you will love it. It's a promise, because it is amazing what your mind, body and soul can do together when you know how. There is a way out of it, and there is a way of start to live again. But it takes hard work, but it's worth every second, because I'm the living proof. I'm sitting here now and I survived. But not only did I survive, but I gained so much from the experience. That was horrible, yes. But the experience gave me more of my real life than I ever had before cancer.